Hi, this is Reverend Sherri. I'm trying to open my PowerPoint presentation and oh God, I wish I could like start over and I cannot start over. So we are just rolling. I'm Reverend Sherri James. I'm the Senior Minister of Understanding Principles Church, and I was laughing with people in the green room because before we got started, like literally up to the last minute, I was getting Jordan situated, and he's situated. So now let's have class. Thank you so much for showing up every Thursday night. It is a blessing and a privilege to be able to do this. I love this work. I love this teaching. It has been transformative for my life. And even when I hit places of frustration like, my consciousness hasn't changed yet, I still feel empowered to move forward. And so please know that as I'm sharing with you, that I'm also working and growing in this teaching. So it's an ongoing process. There is no like get there and you're there, right? You definitely get to be more proficient, but there's always a new hurdle for you to overcome because you're always expressing greater and greater degrees of your divinity. So let's get started. Where's my little outline? There we go. Is that what I want? No, this is what I want. All right. So tonight, I'm really excited about tonight's session because what we're going to be talking about is the chapter on Call Your Equipment, chapter 7, and it is so powerful. And this series has been just wonderful, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for you for showing up. But this is our outline for tonight. Got a couple of announcements. That we'll do our opening prayer. We'll talk about why spiritual identity matters, which is something that we touch on every week. We'll look at what are your tools, or what are your tools for, and then what are your tools. So we're going to talk about what it's for, and then we're going to back up and talk about what they are. And then what does your life say about your skill with your tools? And then we'll open for Q&A. And I said this in today's blog post, but my intent for tonight is that you become so impressed with who you are, but impressed for all of the right reasons, not for vanity reasons, not for any kind of narcissistic purpose or anything like that, but that you become so deeply impressed with how amazing you are, and that you're so impressed that it humbles you. And that's really what I want to communicate. So my prayer really is, give me the skill, Father, that I can teach this lesson, because you are more amazing than you ever imagined. And I know you probably have a sense of it, or you get glimpses or flashes of it, but I want it to become a living reality for you where you are deeply, deeply impressed. Again, not in any kind of egocentric kind of way, not in any kind of like, I'm better than you or I'm more superior than you kind of way, but just deeply impressed with how incredible you are and what it really, really means to be a spiritual being expressing in this spiritual world. So that's what I'm asking for. Like I want to get you impressed by you. So that's my goal for tonight. I trust y'all to let me know how I did. All right, so we're on step 7, which is to recognize your power. Step 7, recognize your power. And I always write a companion blog piece. And if you want to follow along, you can go right over to revsherri.com and follow along. Step 7, the 6 God-given tools that you have to create your life the way you want it. Our platform is Webinar Jam. And so what that means is that normally I used to do this through Google Hangout. So it still is technically through Google Hangout because Webinar Jam is an overlay. But in order to be on the list, if you're coming to YouTube or to my website after this broadcast and you want to know how do you get to be a part of the live session, well, you need to sign up for my newsletter. And I send out the link to register every Thursday so that you can be a part of this conversation. And I thank you. I appreciate you, and I'm grateful that you're here. And I hope that that there is something that you hear in this session that we have tonight October 29th for those of us that are sitting live. That really does help to change your life, help transform your life. That's my sincere hope. I want to invite you, if you're in the Los Angeles area and it is not after November 1st, 2015, we have an incredible service coming up, and this service is called Worshiping in Color. And we are so fortunate because we have the Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen, who is the newly elected president for the Universal Foundation for Better Living. She is coming to speak. We'll hear from our founder, the Reverend Dr. Delarice Lett. I will be the MC for the day, and I cannot tell you how incredibly excited I am. This service is going to be remarkable. If you're in the Los Angeles area, what can I say? You should be there. Like, this is probably not the thing you want to hear about or see the posts on Facebook, or like you want to actually make an effort to get here. It's really a big deal, and I'm so excited. I can't tell you. I'm over the moon excited about what is going to happen on Sunday, and so I hope that you're there. So the scriptures for this 9-part series, so we're on part 7 of this 9-part series, is John 10:34. Is it not written in your law, I said you are gods? And Genesis 1:26, let us make humankind in our image according to our likeness, and let them have dominion. And so if you would just take a moment, this is our opening prayer, to just relax right where you are and really just soak in the beauty of this moment. Because right where you are right now is all is that we have this platform, we have this opportunity together, that there is this chance that we have to live up to the beauty of our creation, and that we have the opportunity to live out of a new and higher and better truth. And I give thanks that the right things will be said, that I will be inspired to go in the right direction with this lesson, that you will be inspired to give the right comments, to speak the right words, so that every person that is here live and every person that is here even after this is recorded gets exactly what they need for their soul's development. I affirm that. I believe that to be true. I believe that to be possible, and I just agree with it. Thank you, God. In the name and through the power that is in the name of the one that is called the Christ, I affirm that this is so, and so it is. And amen. So here's that trusty card. We see it every week. Why your spiritual identity matters. You are spirit. This is a quote from chapter 1 with Imelda Shanklin. You are a soul that has forgotten its divine identity, a soul now struggling to remember in the midst of time and in the confusions of experiences that you are the living Son of the living God. Why does this matter? I will tell you a personal experience. So this is going to be a little bit of confession session, just a teeny bit of confession session. So I've been working on something that is, really important to me, just from a business standpoint, as a spiritual entrepreneur, as that is part of growing my business. And I finally got to a place where I thought I was done, or I thought I was near completion, and it was a big hurdle. There were all kinds of emotional hurdles that I had to overcome to get to that next level, and then so I'm being too cryptic. I was writing, and I got to the end point of my writing, or what I thought was the end point of my writing. And then there was another piece to be written, and I guess I thought that it was going to be written quickly. Maybe that was it. Maybe I thought it was going to be written quickly. And when I finally sat down to start writing again and doing this kind of second piece to what I'm creating, the fullness of like the research that was going to need to go into it, and it wasn't something that I could just write like off the top of my head. I would really have to go and dig and do research. And all of a sudden, what I thought was this like little thing that I was going to kind of ride over turned into what looked like this huge mountain. And it was like, God, I just crossed this other mountain. And so your spiritual identity is so important, because you have to have something in you that reminds you that you are victor over your circumstances. So it isn't that you don't have weak moments. It isn't that you don't have moments where you feel like you want to throw in the towel, or that it is more than you can bear. It is that you have so conditioned your mind that even when you slip, that you catch yourself, or that you've built a network of people around you. And so I really have to just give a shout out to my Wednesday Night Circle team, crew, spiritual community, because it's a place where I can go and I can be vulnerable, and I don't have to be Sherri the pastor. I can just be real and say, look, y'all, I didn't hit the wall. But my point being that your spiritual identity is so important and so central to your being, because if you do not understand who you are, then when you get to the foot of whatever mountain it is that you need to climb, the difference between you going ahead and putting one foot in front of the other, or you falling back and just saying, you know what, this is too hard, or this is too big for me, or I'll never get to where I want to be. It's the difference between you getting started and you sitting there and just kind of throwing in the towel. And so your spiritual identity determines how you show up. It determines how you express, especially when you hit the wall. Do you bounce back? Where do you go for your strength? Do you find your strength at the bottom of a bag of cookies? You know, do you find it at the bottom of, you know, like where do you find what do you turn to sustain yourself? And so knowing who you are really helps you to pick yourself up. And the person that I chose this week to concentrate on, that I just love, this guy's story, and I don't even know the fullness of his story. But you probably will recognize him. He's been featured on Oprah. I think this is even from the set of Oprah, one of his talks. But he's an Australian motivational speaker. His name is Vic. Vujicic. That's it. Nick Vujicic. All right. It just took me a minute to remember I practiced the pronunciation. But this man was born with no arms and no legs. He's a young man. He was born in 1982, which probably puts him around, 34, 35 years old, somewhere in there. And if you've ever seen him speak, he is absolutely amazing, and he has such an incredible lease on life and just perspective towards life. And the thing is that so many of us come with whatever the things that we consider our limitations, whatever that is. And the thing is that life is what you make it, and life really is fair. Life really is fair, and it pays you all you are worth. And so one of the things that I love about him is that he keeps a pair of shoes in his closet due to his belief in miracles. But he's not waiting for arms and legs to have a full life. Constance says he's remarkable and funny. He is. His story, if you just Google him, Nick Vujicic. All right, Nick Vujicic. If you just Google him, you will get an opportunity to really hear his story, Nick Vujicic. But his Vujicic is spelled that's what throws me, is that the way it looks, but it's Vujicic, Vujicic. If you Google him, you'll get to hear the power in his story. It really is proof that life is what you make it. You come into this world with whatever things that you have. good, bad, or indifferent, whatever they are, they actually really have no meaning save for the meaning that you have assigned them. And what you do with that life, what you make of it, it is truly up to you. It is truly up to you. And this brings me right to probably the first quote from the text with Imelda Shanklin is, what does your life say about your skill with your tools? So we're going to talk about what your tools are a little bit later, but your tools are basically what you have to use to make your life. And this is what she says on page 107. The worker reveals his trade by the kind of tools that he uses. So the singer uses his voice, the athlete uses his body, the weaver uses his loom. The product of the worker reveals the skill with which the tools have been employed. The product, so if you think about, let's talk about singing, right? So there are lots of people that can sing, right? But it is the skill with which you use the tool that you have that determines the quality of the product. So we have this idea that somehow people are born with natural talent, right? But there's no such thing as unnatural talent. And unnatural talent is an impossibility. What you are seeing when someone develops their talent to the level of a master, what you're really seeing is someone who did something with what they were given. And we'll get to this, but use is the law of increase, that when you put it to use, it shows up, it improves, it gets better. It simply gets better because that's how it works. And so with Nick, hold on, I'm looking at a comment from Ray. Ray says it was once discussed. Oh, yes, it was. We talked about getting this guy, Nick Vujicic, as a speaker. We have a series at my church called Proof of the Truth, and he was one of the speakers that we were looking at, and he would be amazing. And that's still on the table. Let me just throw it out there. He would be a wonderful speaker. This is what she says. She says, a mediocre product, and the product is your life. A mediocre product is the sign of a mediocre worker. A superior product is the sign of a worker who has some advantage over the one whose product is mediocre, but it's probably not the advantage that you're thinking about. It's not an advantage like you were born with some innate gift, right? It is more that the person who has the seeming advantage, the superior product, is that they have developed it. We have so romanticized success and greatness and extraordinariness. We've so romanticized it that we believe that somehow people are born with it or you're not. We even have commercials that says, you know, is she born with it, right? Or is he born with it? As if that these things just kind of come onto the scene and operate of themselves. But nothing shows up without a consciousness. Everything needs a consciousness in order to flow through it. And whoever it is that you admire, it doesn't, you pick the person. Whoever it is that you admire was at one point somebody who was trying to figure out their life and how to figure out their talent. One of my favorite writers, I have this ongoing thing with these dead male writers, but they are Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Neville Goddard, Napoleon Hill, Wallace Wattles, Robert Collier. It's just like the list goes on, right? But the point is that each one of them was once a novice. They didn't. And I tell you, and I really got to figure out where to work in Ralph Waldo Emerson, because he is by far my favorite writer. But when you read his sentences, they're so packed. It's like biting into a good piece of fudge. Like you dig in, and it's like it's a burst of flavors, an avalanche of flavor, right? That's what it's like to eat some, self-reliance or compensation, or pick any one of his essays, right? My point is that he didn't start out an expert. He might have had predisposition, like he liked writing, but he didn't start out being Ralph Waldo Emerson the way that we think, or me. I don't know what y'all think about him, but he didn't start out that way. Same with Henry David Thoreau. One of my favorite quotes is that I wanted to drive life into a corner and basically suck the marrow out of life. Like I want to get all of what's in there in life. And he has these ways of painting these word pictures that's like, whoa, it catches you. He didn't start out like that. He was a dude sitting at a table with a pen trying to make it happen, trying to figure out how to develop his talent. And so the only difference between you and whoever it is that you admire, it really doesn't matter, but whoever it is that you admire, is that they simply put one foot in front of the other and kept pushing through. That when they got over one mountain and they thought they were done, and then they found out there was another mountain, they didn't stop. Even if they took a temporary break, they didn't stop. And so there's so much inside of you, and the quality of your life is simply an indicator of how well you have used the tools that you have been given. And here's the good news. Let's say you're not happy with the quality of your life, right? Let's say that's possible. I got some areas. My friend last night had us fill out a little chart. It was like a little wheel, and you rated yourself in different areas. And so like you'd say, okay, where are you in terms of your spirituality? Where are you in terms of your career? And then you'd put like, I'm at 0% or I'm at 100% or I'm somewhere in between, and nobody had a perfect circle. Everybody had like some kind of, somewhat zigzag pattern as far as like where they felt like they were in their lives. But the point is that wherever that is that you feel like you are, it's simply to keep working, to keep going, because you have the tools to fashion your life exactly the way that you want it to be. That's available to you. That is 100% available to you. Just checking for comments so I can keep going. All right. So, no excuses. If you're not happy with the product, work your tools. Short version, that's it. If you're not happy with the product, go back in the lab and use your tools to create your life. That's really it. You are equipped to meet the demands of every sphere you enter. There is nothing happening in your life right now, good, bad, or indifferent, that is bigger than you. I don't care what it looks like. You are equipped to meet the demands. You are set up to be champion. One of the things that she says, and I think it is just powerful, is that only a poor man blames his tools. Only a poor man blames his tools. Only a poor man looks at the hammer that he has and says, you know what, this hammer is no good, and there's nothing I can do about it. Uh-oh. Y'all can't see the outline? Did we lose that? Hold on. Wait a minute. This is what she says on page 109. You are equipped to meet the demands of every sphere that you enter. If you have not been meeting the demands of your sphere, begin now to use the equipment that will adjust you and your sphere to each other. Basically, do your work. Only a poor workman blames his tools. Now, if you have been a poor workman, discontented and apparently unsuccessful, the condition is in part due to your having tried to paint your masterpiece on a canvas with a chisel, an instrument that you should reserve for your work with marble. Fit your equipment to your work and you will not blame your tools. You will be pleased with the result. Only a poor workman blames his tools. It is not. What you have is sufficient. And there are depths to your talent. However you measure your talent, whether you think it's amazing, unamazing, whatever it is, there are depths to your talent that you have not yet uncovered. I'll say it again. There are depths to your talent that you have not yet uncovered. And the amount that you haven't uncovered far exceeds that which you have uncovered. So if you are a singer, there are places with your voice that you can go. But in order to get to those places, you've got to make use of your tools. As a writer, there are places in your writing that you can go, that you in fact, it's so grand you can't even fathom it. That's how amazing it is. You have unfathomable talent. I don't, and as I said, if I do my job right tonight, you will be so impressed with you. You have unfathomable, whatever it is that you like. You have your grand scheme, right, of like what it is and like how fabulous life can be and what fabulous looks like to you, right? And what's possible for you is greater than that, far greater than that. And so what's in you is far greater than that. But it is you shifting and using your tools properly in order to open up those spaces in you. Oh, I love this. Your troubles are not due to injustice anywhere. We have this idea that somehow life is bad because of things outside of ourselves. I'm looking for a quote from her. Oh, I'm not finding the quote from her that I want to give you right away. Here it is. If you are a superior worker, you know that you can win, and you make yourself win. If you are a mediocre worker, you will neglect to take with you to your daily occupation the most necessary of all tools, which is confident aspiration. You become discontented, chronically unsuccessful. You set your success in the future, and there it remains. You claim that your troubles are due to injustice somewhere. You say that economic inequalities forbid your success. You think that the remedy for your trouble lies in the acts of others. This is so important because I can't overstate the value and the importance of this. This idea that your success is based on the acts of others, or that your troubles are based on the acts of others. You are convinced that legislation can do for you what you have not done for yourself. If you won't do enough for yourself, they can't make enough rules to make the playing field fair for you. If you won't do for you, neither Congress nor the federal bank nor any legislative body, nor the city council, or the civic club can do for you what you won't do for yourself. There are, again, remember, what's in you is far greater than what you've already expressed. I don't care how old you are. Age is immaterial because you're infinite anyway. What is in you is far greater than what you have expressed. As you bring talent out of you, you become magnetic and you begin to draw things, people, places, and things to you by virtue of your own magnetism that you've drummed up because you've taken the time to develop you. Right? So it does not matter what is happening in the outside world if you have not done your work in the inner world. Because though the opportunity may be there, if you don't have the consciousness to take advantage of it, it doesn't exist for you. So there is no substitute for you doing your work. There's no substitute for you developing you. You have to make you a priority in terms of your development plan, whatever that is. But I love that quote. It's like, you think that legislation, and I say that Again, I know I'm gonna step on some toes, right? But I guess that's my job. We got a lot of stuff going where we want the laws to be fair in this country. And I'm not telling you don't reach for fair laws, but please understand it is when the people change that the laws change. The laws don't change and then the people change, right? It's the people change and then the laws change. So if you want your community to be better, right? I love this. She says, stop knocking, go to nailing. Stop knocking on a door, trying to get into a door, and start nailing and building the world that you want. And the first place you've got to build it is inside of you. You and me are fit for the way that our world is governed right now. If we want our world to be different, then we must be different. Every government, the governments are no better than the people who are governed. And we always want to look and point the finger and say them, right? If, because right now they're in this whole, if you're watching this later in, late 2015, there's this whole bid to defund Planned Parenthood, and people are having a fit, and, and they want to, they're frightened about the election coming up because from a Republican standpoint, if the Democrats get in the office, they'll keep killing babies. And from the Democrat standpoint, if the Republicans get in office, they're going to shut down Planned Parenthood. Right? And there's this fear-mongering, right? But if you will become just in the way that you negotiate your life and the handling of your life, you will become the people whose laws are just. But it doesn't happen the other way around. It's kind of like when people study the Bible and they think that the Bible doesn't come out of a community. And it's like you can't extract the Bible out of the community that it came out of. You can't ignore the people through whom the document came. Documents don't exist of themselves. And so you must bring that into your Bible study. And so it is with the laws of your land, that the laws don't exist independent of the people. So it's when the people change. But really what it comes down to is when you change, because when you change, you influence so many people. Trends need a trendsetter. Will it be you? For a trend to get started, somebody's got to be the first person to start it, to set the whole ball in motion. Will it be you? Will you be the trendsetter for whatever it is that you believe deeply in? Or will you sit and continue to complain about how unfair this country is? And I'm speaking about the U.S., but I'm sure it don't matter really where you are, because the belief that life is unfair is not specific to the U.S. If you're watching this in Germany, I'm sure, I don't know what the parties are, but I know that there's a group that feels like they're in power and another one feels like there's somebody else, oppressing them. Because that's just, we all got to wake up. So what are your tools? Well, the first one is that you have a brain. And this is the best part. Your brain is the only organ or brain in the entire world whose work can be of particular value to you. Your brain is solely for your use. So this is important because your brain communicates with the rest of your body, right? And I can go and develop my brain, but if you don't develop your brain, all the neurons that I've connected in my mind don't mean anything for you. This is one of the most powerful organs that you have. It helps you retain information. It expands so that you're able to bring in new things into your physical body. And the things that become your addiction, they first become addictions in your brain and in your mind. So though I may break the addiction in me, it don't do squat for you if you haven't done the work. And the thing is that you've got to continue to develop new things. I have Jordan now, and so I'm always reading about, like, okay, what raises IQ, what helps develop children, stuff like that, right? And one of the things that helps them at this very young age, according to the research, is just exposing them to different things. So we're constantly out at like different parks and he's getting an opportunity to see the world and really, really, really expand and stretch, right? Because each experience forms new neurons. And then when he gets enough sleep at night, which he gets enough sleep every night, but when he gets enough sleep at night, then what happens is that those neurons then synthesize that information so that it then becomes a part of him. And there's something about outdoor play that helps him, and I don't understand this and why it's so, but that helps him emotionally so that he's able to manage himself emotionally in the world. One of the things that they found, interestingly enough, is that a lot of people are so hyper focus on academics for their children and not developing them physically and socially, that they're seeing a record number of kindergartners falling out, not being able to manage themselves emotionally. So they're great academically, but emotionally they ain't got nothing going on. And what they attribute it to is that people are so busy trying to get their kids to read by age 2 or whatever, that they're not worried about, wait a minute, how do they relate to their world, and giving them outdoor experiences and giving them an opportunity to play, because there's so much learning that happens in play. But the bottom line is that the brain development is central to your ability to be able to show up in this world, to be able to negotiate in this physical sphere. And it's your responsibility to develop your brain. And so you must take in the kind of information. You must continue to teach yourself new things, because every time you teach yourself something new, you form new neurons. Every time you practice it, there's a process where the neurons are being formed called myelination, that as you practice, that there's this expansion that happens in your brain. And the beauty is that that goes nowhere with age. It's not like your ability to take in new information. It is your attitude that keeps you from taking in new information, but not your ability that keeps you from taking in new information. And so you want to begin to train your brain to show up for you, and you do that by making learning a lifelong process. Constance says, got you out on Facebook sharing your lesson with my peeps and their peeps and so on. Thank you, Constance. Marvin says, in my old church, we were taught that life was a veil of tears and we have to take up the cross. They told me that too. And I'm so glad that that is not my truth anymore. Grateful for that. Life is what you make it. Oh, okay, I got to say this one thing. Do not be satisfied with skimming the surface. Do not be content with playing at thinking. So get serious about thinking. If you are not changing your world, you're not thinking. I'm saying how to, okay, I don't, there's no way to like clean that up, and I don't, and I certainly don't want to, actually, do I care? No, I want you to wake up. If your world is not changing, you're not thinking. If your world is not changing, you're not thinking, because thinking, by definition, changes your world. Usually what happens is that people are recycling the same old thoughts. And our world is set up where we read the same kinds of information, we associate with the same kinds of people, we watch the same kinds of TV shows, and so our world just kind of reinforces itself. And so there's never an opportunity for growth, because ain't nowhere that anything new is coming in. You've got to continue to bring in new things. Go learn how to play an instrument. Go learn how to speak a new language. Go learn how to do something that seems far outside of what you would ever consider doing. Go learn how to do it, because what you're trying to do is open up you're a vessel, right? And there are these untold treasures inside of you, but you can't get to it because you won't do anything about it. And so your world is closed down, and you're the only one that holds the key to open it up. So do not be content. And the thing is that don't worry about where you pick the knowledge. Just do a deep dive on whatever interests you. If you like flowers, do a deep dive on flowers. There are secrets in flowers. In fact, pick one, just roses. That's enough right there. If you just do a deep dive on roses, they have secrets to reveal to you. If you like cheese, right? Do a deep dive on cheese, whatever that is, because all knowledge is related, right? All knowledge is related. And so when you do that deep dive on it, there are secrets that you pull out that then become applicable to every aspect of your life. George Washington Carver, who was a mystic, just asked God to know the secrets of the universe. And I don't know, I don't know if this is a story that he said or Reverend Mary said, but the way that she described it, like, little man, I don't worry about the universe. Just here, I'm gonna give you the peanut to work with. Just work with the peanut. And those of you that know the history know that he made more than 300 products with the peanut. But in cracking the secret of the peanut, he drew out an understanding of the universe. So do a deep dive on whatever it is that you want to know. Whatever that is, whatever you have an interest in, go deeper. Don't be satisfied with just skimming the surface. And challenge yourself to think. If your world is not, and look, you can look at your life. If it's not changing, it's like, hold up. I need to do some real thinking. And then go into your prayer time and ask, Spirit, help me, because I want stuff to shift. So help me do some real thinking. Number 2, you have a body. Train it to serve you, not to rule you. Train it to serve you, not to rule you. Educate it to health, strength. Your body provides your contact with the visible world, and therefore, by all the improvement that you make in it, you are the better served by it. But here's the thing. Always keep your mind and your body in correct relationship. Mind, the director, body, the agent. Mind, the director, body, the agent. So many times we say things like, oh, my feet are talking to me. My back is talking to me. My this and that. You better talk back to it. You better let it know who's in charge. This is your body. It's like saying, you have a puppy and your puppy gonna run your world. No, you're not. No, I'm not gonna abuse you and misuse you. I'm gonna give you everything that you need for your care. Make sure you get enough food, enough sleep, enough outdoor play. But guess who's in charge? Guess who's the boss? Guess who runs this, right? And so it is with your body. And so many times our bodies are ruling us. And the truth is that they're really not ruling us, but we're responding to every impulse as if our bodies are ruling us. And so when there's some pain creeps up, you need right relationship with your body so that you understand that, wait. I'm in charge here. So what's going on? Do you need some time to rest? Do you need more outdoor play? Like what do you need? Because I want to give you what you need so that you can function optimally. But make no mistake, mind is the director. Your mind is the director of your body. So you can tell your body, hey, you're not the boss of me. Real frank, you're not the boss of me. Feet, you're not the boss of me. Back, you're not the boss of me. It's so real. And it's not just that, it's also the impulses, right? So the impulse, like, oh, I really want something sweet. Listen, if you have ever done a fast, you know that after 3 days, the sensation of feeling hungry goes away. Just flat out goes away. That is true with any sensation. But usually what happens with sensations is that we get emotionally involved in the sensation, as opposed to observing it objectively, whatever it is, whether it's a desire for sweets or whether it's the feeling of being sad or whatever it is that we get emotionally involved in it. And the moment that we get emotionally involved, it's like, gotcha. So you want to train your body to serve you, not to rule you. Recognize it. Train your body to serve you, not to rule you. And if you need to get simple and say, you are not the boss of me, because we all understand that. Somebody started telling you what to do, the first thing you say is that you ain't the boss of me. You need to tell that to your body. Have that conversation with your body. You have an environment. Fill it with God. Never put into your environment anything that can hamper your most accurate expression of the God idea. Never put into your environment anything that can hamper your most accurate expression of the God idea. I told y'all on a previous hangout that I love the procedurals. There's a couple, I won't call them by name because I'm not trying to disparage the shows, but I love these shows. Love. Just incredible show. The writing is wonderful. And I had to realize that, wait. Every victim on this show is a woman. And she's usually victimized in some kind of brutal way. I cannot take this information in any longer, because everything that you take in must find expression. There are no freebies, right? There are no freebies. So I can't afford to read the gossip rag because there are no freebies. Everything that I take in must find expression, because that's the spiritual law that governs my mind, my body, my thinking. Whatever I take in must find expression. So your environment must be set up so that what flows out of you is good. So one of the things, when I was in a really, really just, dark place, emotionally, financially, emotionally, just every level, I started posting affirmations all over the wall. And I joke with someone that it was like that scene in A Beautiful Mind when it's revealed that Russell Crowe is mentally ill. Not that it was a revelation, I was mentally ill, but anyway, it was revealed that he was mentally ill, and that the things that he was keeping up were made up in his mind. And they went into the room, and it was like all these papers and stuff on the wall. And that's how I was with the affirmations. It's like, I am coming up out of here. My environment is going to. It was affirmations everywhere. Like, we are coming up out of this mess now. Fill your environment with God. Good. That can be in the form of flowers. That can be in the form of beautiful art. That can be in the form of just having a clean house. It is fill your environment with God, which is absolute good. Because you don't want anything that would hamper the expression. But your environment is not just physical, it's also mental. So you want to fill your mental world in terms of the things that you read and the things that you permit to come into your awareness. Be mindful of your environment. Running a little bit long. You have God's law of increase. Let no opportunity go unattempted. Everything gets better with use. Everything gets better with use. And then become intentional about getting better. Become intentional about getting better. On the blog, I included a video, and I think I sent it to you guys last week, with Benjamin Zander. He is a conductor. I don't know which with which opera or orchestra, excuse me. But he loves classical music, and he tells this beautiful story of this is just the first 5 minutes that you have to watch, and it's on the blog. He tells this beautiful story of a child becoming a master, or not a master, but a child becoming learning how to play the piano, and each year the child gets better based on learning where to put the emphasis in terms of the playing. But generally people give up right before they get to the place where they actually develop some level of mastery. And the thing is that everything gets better if you use it. Think about everything that you do. If you wash dishes, the first time you wash dishes, it was probably a cringe-inducing thing for your parents. But as you age and you did it more, you got better. And the thing is that doesn't necessarily mean that you have even an intention about getting better. You just got better because you just did it more. But then when you add to it the intention, it just accelerates. So it's whatever it is that you do it continually, but then add to it, mix in with it the intent to get better. Constance says, man, I love Wendy Williams and look forward to Hot Topics. Girl, yes, I understand. I do. Wendy is very entertaining. Life is exact. Plant a tree in good soil. Give the tree water and air and sunlight, and the tree will grow. If things are not growing in your life, where is the water? Where is the air? And where is the sunlight? Because and is the soil good? Because life is exact. You really can trust God's law of increase. This is one of your tools. If you will use it, whatever it is that you have, if you will use it, you will get better at it. If you mix in the intention to get better at it, you can become a master. It's available to you. You have ability. Discover your known and your unknown talents. You have all the ability you can use, and you have more ability than you have ever used. You have all the ability that you can use, and you have more ability than you have ever used. There are places in you right now that it's unsuspected. You possess unsuspected faculties, not faculties. That's a typo. Sorry about that. You possess unsuspected faculties. There are things that are possible in you right now that you don't even have a inkling is possible. Good stuff. Good stuff. What the part that you have seen so far, whatever it is that you have accomplished, what's possible for you to accomplish is far greater than all that you have done. And it really doesn't matter how accomplished you are. It's still far greater. And so you have ability, but the only way to get it out of you is to begin to develop it. Just get going and do it. Just get going. And then love it, because love embodies confidence. And it reaches forward to the thing loved and touches it. And then it activates it and brings it to you. This is the last tool, number 6. You have an attitude, and this is probably the key right here. Let it take you higher. Your attitude is the key to unlocking your unknown ability. Your attitude is the key to unlocking your unknown ability. And that's why I love this. I don't know if you guys can read this if it's big enough, but it's the little caption says, a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere till you change it. A bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere until you change it. The thing is that your attitude is the difference maker as far as you getting to the things in you that are extraordinary. You have an extraordinary in you. It's unquestionable. The difference between you letting it out and it staying hidden in the depths of your being is your attitude. And I know you've heard the cliche, let your attitude determine your altitude. It's true. It's true. Let your attitude, because what happens is that your attitude, the whole purpose of waking up spiritually is so that you can become like a little child. So it isn't that you get rid of your wisdom and any of that, but it is that you go back to that, or not go back to it, but you reawaken that wide-eyed innocence about your life. So you keep all of the wisdom, but you reopen or reestablish that unbridled enthusiasm. You know, earlier today, because on Thursdays I take Jordan to this thing is called Moonbeams and Stardust, and it's him with his other little friends. This class, it's an outdoor classroom. It's put on by this guy from Panther Ridge Farms. It's a wonderful program. It's for kids of all ages, and we go outdoors and we go in the wilderness, and we're out in like places I didn't even know were in California. And as he gets out on the thing, and he just takes out running, and he's just going. Just going, and I usually have to run ahead and say, wait, not that far yet, not that far, and everybody knows Jordan is the explorer in the class. Everybody knows he is the explorer. If there's a kid that's going to take out and go investigate it, it's going to be Jordan. So he takes out running, and there's just this wide-eyed innocence of like, oh my God, there's so much to see, so much to do, so much to be, so much to have, so much to experience. And waking up spiritually is reawakening that aspect of yourself. But now what you have to marry with it is you have all of the wisdom. And so it's the attitude of skepticism that keeps you locked to where you are. And so what you're meant to do is not get rid of the wisdom, but it's just to get rid of the skepticism, that skeptical attitude that just doesn't trust the universe, right? That you know, people come to you and you don't trust the people that come to you. And it's like, no, I trust God. And if you mean ill for me, I will be protected. So I'm not worried. I'm not trying to keep myself from anything, because I live and move and have my being in a vibration of love. So everything that comes my way is for my highest good. And I don't have to fear anything or anyone. And that's the part that I love about watching Jordan, and what it reminds me about what the purpose of this spiritual journey is about, is to reawaken that place in me that feels like, there is just infinite good available. Infinite good. There's no end to what's possible for me. So in review, the 6 tools to create your life the way that you want it. Number 1, you have a brain. Use it. Take advantage of the only brain that can be of value to you. Number 2, you have a body. Train it to serve you, not to rule you. Remember that your body is not the boss of you. Number 3, you have an environment. Fill it with God. Be mindful of everything that you take in, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything that you take in. Fill it with God, which is absolute good. Number 4, you have God's law of increase. Let no opportunity go unattempted. Whatever you genuinely work at, you will get better at. Whatever you genuinely work at, you will get better at it. Number 5, you have ability. Discover your known and unknown talents. You haven't seen the half of what's possible for you. And number 6, you have an attitude. Let it take you higher. Be willing to change your attitude and change into the person your dreams require. Be willing to change into the person your dreams require. And that person is the one who goes back to that wide-eyed innocence of the child, keeping the wisdom that you have got, that you have spent years accumulating, but reawakening that enthusiasm and that vigor for life. So here's my call to action. Become impressed with yourself for the right reasons. Up to this point, we have been impressed with ourselves because of the cars that we drive, or the house that we live in, or the friends that we associate, or the rooms that we can get into, or the people who will take our phone calls. And I'm saying, become impressed with yourself for the right stuff. Become impressed with yourself because you got a brain, and you got a body, and you've got God's law of increase on your side, and you have an attitude that if you get it right, it will take you everywhere, and you have talents in you that you don't even know about. You have unsuspected talent. Unsuspected. Number 2, work on your tools. Get better at using your brain. Get better at using your body. Get better at using God's law of increase. Get better at using your environment. Get better at your attitude. All of that. And then, and rate your progress. Check yourself. Monthly, weekly, daily, whatever works for you. Rate your progress. And number 3, then leave me a comment on this YouTube video with your results. Let me know how this worked out for you. Okay, questions. Questions. Bruce says, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Yes. Absolutely. John 10:10. Eve says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Traditional church is lack of this great teaching. Eve's, that's a whole other conversation. But yes, I will have to agree with you on that. Any questions? Any aha moments? Thank you for tonight. I hope I did my job. I don't know, but when I read this, the feeling that I had was like, wow, like I am amazing, but not just I'm amazing, you are amazing. We are amazing. And we spend so much time pulling ourselves down or feeling badly about the way things are, or, and it's like, God, we've got so much good happening, so much good. Thank you guys for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody in the room. Glad to have y'all in. Oh wait, I think I got a comment. Constance says, you always do that thing. You're amazing and help me to see the beauty and wonder in me. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's the goal, is that I want you to fall in love with you. And not in some ego, well, y'all know. I'm saying that more for somebody that watches this video after this class. But those of you that have been with me, I'm speaking not from some kind of narcissistic point of view, but falling in love with yourself because you are just simply that doggone amazing. Like, just you're incredible, and not for any kind of outer things, but because of just you are wondrously and fearfully made. And there's no, it's just not anything you can do about it. The only thing you can do about it is be grateful for how wonderful you've been created. Tamika says, thank you. It was awesome. Thank you, Tamika. Andrea says, thank you, Rev. Well done. I'm impressed with myself. Yes. And Bruce says, we are one with the one. Yes, we are. Praise God. We are one with the one, which is formless, endless, boundless. Tamika says, you reminded me of a lot of things I needed to be reminded of. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tamika. Glad to have you here tonight. Thank you so much. I love this format. It's like I could do this all the time. And I appreciate it. Sunday, please come on Sunday. I hope to see you guys. If those of you that are in the Los Angeles area, it's going to be remarkable. Thank you I say this publicly, to my team. We have an incredible group of people at Upchurch that are just doing a great job. I won't call names because I'll mess around and forget a name, but I just want to thank everybody, because the people that I've been talking to, like, during the week and all of that, it makes me feel so good. Like, oh my God, Sunday is we're going to blow our own minds, and I can't wait. I'm excited. So thank you. Have a beautiful week. I will see you next week. We will be on chapter 8. Of course, I do not know the name of the chapter, but we'll be on chapter 8. So have an awesome, awesome week. I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.